Boom. There it is, man. Peace to the guys. Peace to the guys. Hope you guys can hear me. We just want to go ahead and kick this off, man. Another part two of Deconflicted, where we talk about the three D's, right? Which are very important, which is discernment, decisions, and deconfliction. And I'm one half of the host, Antoine Jarvis, man. And this is my brother, man. You go ahead and speak your mind, brother.
Hey, it's Brian Boggs representing the Nasty Natty, here to give a perspective that you may have considered or you might not have considered. But hopefully, it'll open your mind if you hadn't.
That's really what we all trying to do. Just trying to plant some seeds, man, and somebody else will come back and water them joints, man.
All
What we building on today, man? What was it? Hold up, I got my notepad, man. We had a good one earlier, man. That one was a powerful one. Can justice and freedom coexist?
Yes,
Part two. Part two.
absolutely. The
Why,
continuation.
the continuation. Why do you feel is a good idea for us to continue building off of what we touched on earlier?
I mean, I kind of like the idea of where we were talking about the history. We can kind of go back there and bring it to the present. That way, so the uh the concepts of it can be uh explored, and we can shine lights, just different flavor lights. You know what I'm saying? Instead of
Hmm.
constantly using that white light, we might shine a black light on it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. As we should, as we should. You know what I'm saying? As we should. Listen, at the end of the day, it really just boils down to utilizing this platform, man, to just spark the conversations that some people are having, some people are not having. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And provide a space to where we can all touch on it. We can all come together and have this conversation. Um, and that's how I look at it. That's more so how you look at it as well. Just being able to share this information. Um, it's not, we don't know all, and this isn't the end all. You know what I mean? This is just definitely a little bit of sprinkles. A little bit of sprinkles to what we're already eating up every single day.
exactly. It's just a perspective to a topic that people talk about. Just maybe give you a new way of looking at something.
I like that. It definitely is a perspective, and um, I also wanted to touch on it, as well, if you don't mind, the idea of um, because just the conversation we had earlier, man, it took me somewhere, and I'm like, man, there is no freedom in the mind, and our mind cannot be free without information. It cannot be free without information, without proper information and
I
the
was get proper
ability.
information because you got a bunch of
Right.
information up
There's a
there.
bunch of information. Listen. That's why I jumped in real quick. Let me go ahead and clarify real quick because the words matter.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Words matter. So I said, let me go ahead and clarify real quick the proper information in the ability to be able to utilize that information however you see fit. You know what I'm saying?
And that's where discernment comes in.
That's where discernment comes in. That gives you the ability to be able to make a damn decision.
Yep.
This or this. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I
Yep.
said, you know what? Let's touch on that because um, I don't think I don't think we do enough of analyzing the mind and how much power the mind has, right? And assisting us in dictating how we live our lives.
Right.
And also how we perceive what freedom looks like, how we perceive what justice looks like. You know what I'm saying? Perfect example. When somebody says no justice, no peace, automatically we're thinking NO justice, NO peace. However, I seen a meme when it said no justice, KNOW justice, KNOW peace.
Right.
And I'm glad you said it, just a different perspective, because it's the perspectives that gives us something to think about.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It gives us that opportunity to really be able to say, okay, boom, this is everything I got right here, right? Let me take this information that I got right here, this Bible, if you will, notepad, whatever you want to call it, of my thoughts, and let me figure out a way to uh, utilize what I've been given. Or, like you said before, you know, there's some people that stay stuck in the past.
Yeah.
They don't know how to break out of, you know what I mean, the chains of their own mental enslavement.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Can you touch on that? We kind of touched on that a little bit earlier, but can you dive into that a little bit?
Oh, for sure, for sure. Like one of, like we were saying earlier, one of the biggest things is if you control how a person thinks, you ain't got to worry about them doing anything from a behavior perspective that'll put you at risk. So, a lot of people that like let's think about like the N word, nigga.
Right.
That's a word that sparks an emotional response. In us melanated humans. Well, some of us, not all of us.
Some of us, for
Yeah.
sure.
And
Yeah,
the
for
thing
sure.
is, as long as you allow that word to occupy space in your brain to where now you need to get angry, have an emotional response, you playing right into the hand that somebody else wants you to play with. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Mm.
if you can control your own responses using that think tank you got to not overreact, to realize that anytime a person says anything, it's to elicit a response from you, preferably negative, so that justice can be achieved for them, which takes that freedom of you. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's not it's financial freedom, you know, emotional freedom, which a lot of people don't have emotional freedom. A lot of people have connections to things that they shouldn't have connections to. And we got to learn how to cut that connection to that in our brains.
Mm. Okay. What do you feel is, from your personal perspective, right? What do you feel is some connections that people hold on to that prevent or stunt their growth?
Man.
We taking it there. I'm just saying.
Hey, man.
We taking it there. That's the whole idea of us coming together, having a meeting of the minds. We
Yes.
taking it there, no holds bars, man. These are conversations that we be having. We just
Yep.
put a camera in front of us, man, and we taking it there.
Sounds good to me. All right, I'll tell you one connection off top. The first connection I severed was my connection to needing to be in the hood. That was the first connection I severed. I
You
left
said
home
to needing to be in the hood.
because it's a place of comfort, especially like if that's where you grew up at, you got some love there. Think about back in slavery times, when Harriet Tubman was going back and getting slaves out. And if you ever listen to the autobiography of Frederick Douglass, he speaks on it too. That a lot of people, back then, people didn't escape slavery because they didn't want to lead the people they were closest to, the people that they loved. So they kept themselves in a condition that was substandard. There was plenty of people that could have escaped slavery, but they stayed there so that they could be around the people they love to try to make it a it was shared misery. Let's say that. You know, misery loves company.
Misery loves
Because
company.
you feel less miserable if you got somebody to be miserable with. You know. But like Frederick Douglass, you know, he made the decision that even though the people he cared most about was on the plantation, for himself as a man, he needed to go. He needed to escape, and he did. And that's the only reason why he was able to shine the light on slavery that he was, because he did it. You know, because we get so caught up in our shared existence with people that we forget that sometimes we got a mission that's bigger than that. And for myself, you know, I was always, you know, positively influenced by my mother and my grandmother and Mr. Spencer. And as I started to understand things better, I knew I'm not supposed to just stay here being a shell of who I'm supposed to be. It's the reason why you are supposed to develop and move past things that you used to do. So the first thing I did was, you know, and I don't mean that I don't have love for the hood. That it does not mean that. Does that mean I don't have love for the people that back there? But what it meant was, if I want to better my life, and if I want to be able to help better other people's lives, somebody got to make the hard decision. Somebody got to say, all right, you know what? Hey, I love y'all, but I'm out of here. I got to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Somebody got to.
Somebody got to. Other words, everybody stays there. You know, so I think that's a connection that needs to be severed. I'll tell you another connection in the mind that needs to be severed is and I was definitely one of these people. It is the need to, or the desire, let me say not say need, the desire to utilize force, vice, logic, or thoughts. You know, there's a reason why they say the pen is mightier than the sword. You know what I'm saying? The pen is always mightier than the sword. The ability to
go ahead. I was going to ask you in what way, because I've heard that before.
Yeah.
And I'm slowly learning the idea of, you know how and hopefully people don't take this the wrong way, but when I growing up, I always heard white folks say this stuff, right? I'm gonna write a letter. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I would always be like, man, like, what? Like, what is that letter gonna do? And then when I started learning about contract law and learning that everything requires consent.
Right.
Then I started being nice with the pen. Like, okay, I gotta learn this stuff because I gotta be able to communicate this to them. You know what I'm saying? So they can understand where I'm coming from, so that way we can actually dispute this. What's your thoughts on the pen is mightier than the sword, and how do you utilize that in your day to day?
So I'm gonna speak on it like I'm gonna give an analogy of the NBA. So the NBA, it was about the sword at one time. It was all about being stronger, more violent, you know, tougher, you know, than your opponent. You know, when you can really like have fights and wasn't no problem, you know. And then when they recognize that, okay, the game isn't as entertaining as it can be, the wrong elements are being promoted, they use that pen. And they change the rules of the game. And they keep changing the rules of the game. And that's like the law. You know? If there's a loophole that too many people are taking advantage of, the sword, what they do is they take that pen and they change that loophole. So now when you swing that sword, oh, you're in trouble, buddy.
Yeah, because you still swing the sword the same way.
Because you still
The
swing your sword
problem,
the same
but the
way.
problem is they made their adjustments.
Yes. So for me, the pen is mightier than the sword is use your mind to think through solutions. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to needing to use force. Now, and that's, don't get me wrong. If force is required, you utilize it, and you utilize it in a fashion where it's dominating. But always use your mind first.
So the pen is an expression of the mind
Yes.
and the power of the mind.
Yes.
Okay, okay. And I think therein lies where we're able to tie it back to our initial conversation before with justice and freedom is being able to have the ability, right, to discern all the information you're taking in.
Absolutely. The pen is a utensil utilized to express your thoughts.
Bingo.
You know what I'm saying?
Bingo. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
That's exactly
So,
what it is.
so I think those are some of the things that we definitely, especially it's especially in situations where it's where thought is required. And I say that the other thing we gotta connection we gotta cut is that emotional connection to mental stimuli. Like we have a habit of overreaction. And that's people. People have a habit of
Right.
overreaction. They see something and they get an emotional response and they overreact. When you overreact, that was emotional. And when you overreact, you put yourself at a disadvantage. Because now you end up having to make amends, or now you have to face justice.
I see what you're saying. Now you got it. Now you got to face. Oh man! Now you got to face what reality you ultimately created for yourself. You had a
Absolutely.
hand in creating for yourself, if you will.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see
Yeah,
that.
and that's why I always tell people, life ain't what happened to you, it's how you react to it.
Mm-hmm.
If you can manage your reaction, if you can control how you respond to things, your life is a whole lot more manageable by you, as opposed being reactionary to somebody else's intent on you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That's so true. I think having the ability to be able to think freely, right? To be able to think freely and control how you respond to the things. For like 2 months straight, Abraham was getting pulled over like once a week. You know what I'm saying? I bullshit you not, man. It was like 8 or 9 times he got pulled over in like 2 months. Never found nothing. And what I noticed about him, right, is he started to change.
Yep.
He started to get more upset. He started to get more irritated the more and more it happened. And I was trying to tell him, like, bro, you got to calm down. This is what they want you to do. They want you to lose control. They want to be able to see that they were able to get you to jump out of character. That's why every time they talk to you in questions. You see what I'm saying? They talk to you in questions.
Absolutely.
It's a tennis match. It's a tennis match.
It's a chess game.
However you want to look at it, it's back and forth.
Absolutely. By the way, I want to give a shout out to Violent Thor. Hey, thanks for watching.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's a straight up tennis match, man. Like that is the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? And until you can control your emotions and stop, like you said the word nigga earlier, right? It got to the point to where you had to ask yourself, do I got to police the people around me from using this word? Like, and who assigned me to be that guy?
Right.
And who am I to dictate and tell somebody what they can and cannot say? And who am I to think that lowly of myself to allow somebody else to dictate how I respond because of a word?
Facts. And it's a word.
It's a damn
They
word.
didn't touch you. They didn't do
Didn't touch me.
anything.
Didn't make no contact.
No contact. They used the word, and they can put all the emotion and hate in that word that they want. But it's up to you to control how you move.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's the thing. And the thing that's funny is, when you have emotion, when you get an emotional response, you're looking for justice. And normally you go in too far with that desire for justice. I can't believe you said this to me, man. You need to do this, you need to do. But in that search for justice, you lose your freedom.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they don't sit in the same space at the same time. They don't coexist.
Damn. In that search for justice, you end up losing your freedom.
Yeah.
Woo! 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 Good night. Yeah. In that search for justice, you end up losing your freedom in all aspects, man. In all aspects. And that's why it's so beautiful to be able to have these conversations where we can reflect on our past challenges, the past mistakes we made, and figure out a way to take the essence and the elements of the life lessons we learned from that, put it in a pot, stir that joint up, cook that joint, pull it out and eat it, and hopefully we're able to learn a lesson from all of that that we can utilize from that moment moving forward. Because freedom is all up to your perspective and it's all within your control. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? That is something that you gotta realize for yourself. And I think focusing on needing to have justice is what's going to get you caught up in not being able to progress in life. It's like the idea of waiting, holding your breath while waiting for somebody to apologize, and you end up killing yourself while waiting because this person ain't even thinking about that situation no more.
Exactly.
Like I didn't even know you were still tripping off me saying that or doing that. I done already moved on. I got a bigger fish to fry, and you still worried about something that is completely irrelevant to me because I'm not on that type of time. But we still mad, holding on to that space, allowing them to rent space in our mind instead of doing like you said earlier, severing that attachment.
Yep.
Why are we attached to them? You know what I'm saying? What's causing me to be attached to this individual or this thought? And how do I sever that tie so that way I can break away, run away, and live to fight another day? And if I don't do that, why do I stay? What is causing me to stay in that element when I know it's not healthy for me?
Comfort is what you know. Like they say,
But you know,
stay with. They were like, choose the devil you know. Man, I ain't choosing no devils.
I ain't choosing no devil. I ain't choosing no devil. Come on, man. You said I got a choice. I get to make the choice.
I got
Why
to
would
make
I
it.
choose either one of these devils?
I'm going with option 3.
Man, hey, we gotta make our own options, man. If these options don't make sense,
If they don't make sense, like it's your life. You know what I'm saying? And like, and like I like the way you said the no. KNOW, no justice, no peace. You know what I'm saying? Because most, I would say, a nice majority. I say a small majority. I ain't gonna need to say a nice. I'm gonna say a small majority. Somewhere 51% don't even really know justice. Most people's justice is emotional in nature. It's subconscious because most emotions, that's your subconscious mind, and they don't really put the logic behind what should justice really look like. People use those old things, eye for eye. That's you hit me and I'm gonna hit you in the eye. That's not justice. That's emotional. You hit me, I'm gonna hit you back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now we're both blind.
I'm gonna be smarter. Okay, you hit me in the eye. Okay, I'm gonna think of a way to get you where you don't never hit me in the eye again. We don't even think about it.
Expected.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it is just the logic. We gotta utilize better logic, and the only way we can improve our logical process is by learning information, pulling different perspectives. Because just because you see it some way, don't mean that's what it is. And that's the reason why I like the word perspective. I love that word perspective, because you can look at a situation from 3 different angles and get 3 different outcomes. And I'm always looking at something from an angle to get the most positive outcome for my life.
Because that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's all you can really control. You know what I'm saying? That's all you can really control. So I mean, the information is there. If you take it, you take it. If you don't, that's on you. You can't control how anybody else is going to look at these perspectives.
Right.
All you can control is what you have access to control. And like you said, I see 3 perspectives, but how could I utilize this to benefit me?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
having the free will to say, you know what? There's absolutely nothing wrong with me considering myself first. Nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with me saying, you know what? I need to look out for me. I need to figure out what's best for me. Right? And then once I do that, if I turn around and decide to double back and see, you know what I'm saying? If I can assist others with what I already learned along this journey, then I will. If not, then it is what it is.
Put your mask on first before you put on others.
Come on, man. Listen, put your parachute on first before you jump. Like,
exactly.
That's the way it is. Put that parachute on first before you jump.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that right there is so damn key, and it's detrimental to all of us, because again, we stunt our own growth by not being able to process what's in front of us, because we don't have, quote unquote, the spirit of discernment to be able to make a decision on what we're dealing with, the environment that we're in, the ecosystem that we're in, the ecosystem that we created, because we don't know how to navigate within that, whether it's lack of information or having too much information and not knowing how to process step 1 and produce a priority list of step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Whatever it is, we are the reasoning behind why we don't move forward. So I guess Akon was right when he said that about Africans. You know what I'm saying? Africans understand there was slavery, move forward. Black Americans understand that there was slavery, and we still hold on to it. We still trying to get reparations. Now, if it happens,
we want justice.
We still want justice, and I think that right there is what's holding us up. Waiting for waiting for the apology as well as our 40 acres and a mule, which was a myth in the first place. There was no, you wasn't getting no 40 acres and no mule.
There was
Not,
never no deal on the table for that.
it was
It
never
was
no
it was
deal
a
on the
discussion.
table.
It was a discussion, but it was never in writing
It was never at all. But
at
we
all.
held on to that because we felt that was the only real way that you showed me that you were sorry for what you did.
Right. And don't get me wrong. Like I think justice should be sought. I think reparations should happen. But
Facts.
it's
Definitely
certain
not
people,
saying that.
it's certain
That it
people
shouldn't.
that's their assignment. That's not everybody's assignment.
Bingo. Bingo. I need you to do this. While somebody,
Exactly.
there's already a team of people that's already looking into that.
Exactly.
And I'm glad you clarified that and cleared that up because I'm definitely not saying,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, there shouldn't be justice. I'm not saying there shouldn't be reparations because there should be. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the reality of it. When you do wrong to others, especially for how many years you did wrong to people of color, there should be some type of justice, right? There should be a way to repair the relationship that was destroyed over the years. Now, is it for me to hold my breath? I'm more than likely I'm not even going to see those reparations in my lifetime. I'm not
I'm
even
not
expecting
even
that in
counting
my
on it.
lifetime. I'm not
I'm
counting
not.
on it.
Hey, if it happened, cool. If it
If it
don't
happens,
happen,
cool.
that's cool too.
That's cool too. Straight up. Hey, that's cool too, man. Because
Yeah.
my goal is, man, to go ahead and create an eco space to where the people I'm dealing with and an extension of them are able to think for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Feed their constituents. Um, figure out the power of love because I don't care what anybody says, man. In life, if we don't understand the importance of having love for each other, having love for the things that's on this earth, we only got one earth. I don't care what anybody tells you. I don't care about there's water on the moon and all. I don't care about none of that. None of that's irrelevant. None of that's relevant right now.
Exactly. If we
Right
get that
now.
road one time where that comes real, we'll talk about it then.
We'll talk about
But
that. Yeah, we'll talk about that. But right now, nah, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Right
exactly.
now, man, I just want to be loved, be loved, and just you know what I'm saying, and just show people, man, the value of because I think it's become so cliche that people hear they're like, that's foolish. But in all actuality, man, I think that is what is going to I, I think about how much I love my kids. And I
Right.
think about the idea of what that feels like. You know what I'm saying? To like we said before, be a protector, provider, and a teacher.
Yep.
That's my honor. You understand what I'm saying? Like that is my honor to be that guy.
It's
You
my
know what I'm saying?
pleasure.
Come on, what? Come on, what? Like that right there in itself, man. Like sometimes I just sit and reminisce and I just think back, like, bro, like where would I have been if I was exposed to that growing up? And because I was not exposed to it growing up in the way that I felt that I should have, I would never allow my kids to not know what that's like.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I know
Because
exactly what you're saying.
I feel that back to the concept of justice, in a perfect world, I would have been able to get my fair shake of love from my pops. In a perfect world. You know what I'm saying? Now
Mhm.
he's on his deathbed right now, in a hospice, and they just making sure his transition is comfortable. And I sit there and I think like I had to catch myself sometimes because sometimes I become my own worst enemy and I go back in the past and I tap into that little boy
Right.
that didn't have a father. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes I
Oh,
tap
trust
into
me.
that little boy that didn't have a father, and I check myself and realize, bro, like that was the cards I was dealt. Why
Right.
in the hell am I going to complain about something I have no power of changing? I'm not going to do it, B.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do it. And I didn't got the, man, sorry to hear about that. And dude, we praying for you and all that type of stuff. Listen, don't worry about me. Send those prayers to somebody that needs it. Send that positive energy to somebody that needs it. I get it, and I appreciate you considering me, considering my feelings. I appreciate that. Um, but I always think that there's somebody else that needs that positive energy over me. And that could be wrong of me. I haven't decided yet. You know what I'm saying? For you
Right.
to thinking like that, I haven't decided yet. But as of right now, like I just want to see everybody win. You know what I'm saying? So I feel
Right.
like, that time that you spending on, is Antoine okay, could be spent on you growing. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, B, when somebody tells me something positive that they did in their life or that they're doing, that shit fills me up with so much joy, bro. Like that, I'm genuinely happy when people win.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why we vibe so well, because it is genuine. The love is genuine. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? The respect and value is genuine. And I think that when you can take the time that you have, because you only get one shot at this shit. You take the time that you have and utilize that to better yourself in some form or fashion, so that way anybody that's an arm's distance from you can better themselves just from the experience of you. I think that that's a game changer.
That's what I've been doing my entire life, man. Uh, I've always, especially when I was in the Navy, I always would take the time, to just pour into people, and hopefully, they can make it work for them. And if they make it work for them and they take that next step and they progression career wise, human wise, I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? I'm ecstatic. Like, yes, another one's on the way.
Another one's on the way, man. Because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love how you said that, man. Because really, man, when it comes down to the come down, man, it's like we all are in this shit together.
Yep.
No matter how we want to dislike somebody, hate on somebody, and all whatever it is, man, we are in this shit together.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? There is no war between black or white. The war is between rich and poor, and
It,
it starts in your mind.
yes. I mean, really, here's the deal. Like and I know you're a man, you're a man that knows your information. The concept of whiteness didn't come until later. There was no concept of whiteness before then.
No, 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 no. They said you wouldn't even there was nobody called a white person until the 1600s, because
Yeah,
before that everybody had their
exactly.
own identity.
Exactly.
Everybody was attached to either, I'm saying, either European or German or Scottish. They had their own identity. You know what
And
I'm
it's
saying? So it's
yeah.
like shit.
And see, and the thing is, racism, to me, is racism real? Absolutely. It's
It
actually it's a
is.
real thing. And when I say it's a real thing, it's a real thing because enough people believe in it.
Bingo. That's how I look at it too.
Exactly. If
That's
you get
why
enough
that's
people
why I'll
believe
never
in it,
say it's
it's real.
not a real thing, because
Yeah,
there's enough people that believe in it. Yes.
exactly. But the thing is, it's not about race. It's really about class. It's really about the haves continuing to be haves and the have-nots continuing to be have-nots. It's a class difference, and I recognize it, and that's the reason why, like me, I was never like I'm a UN kind of guy. Hey man, operate with anybody. I love all. I'm cool with all. I got friends from somewhere everywhere, and I'm not a judgmental person. I don't judge nobody for any decisions they make. Every man got the right to be what he thinks he should be. Who am I to tell somebody what to be?
Mm-hmm.
Only thing I could try to do is give you some information so you could be more than you think you can be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? To let you know you more than you think you are. But you got to see it. I can't make you see it.
That's the power right there.
Yeah.
Therein lies where you will find your power. Is you have to see it. I can't make you want better for you more than you want better for you. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
Because you're gonna end up resenting me because you're gonna think that I'm forcing you to be something you're not even ready to be.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like that in itself is you have to free your own mind. You are going to be your only savior. There's going to be tons of people that you come across that are going to plant the seeds along the way, but you have to be the farmer.
Facts.
Ain't nobody else going to be the farmer for you. You can call it God, the universe, Allah, whatever you want to call it, right?
You got to till your own soil.
Come on, man. Hey, what you tell yourself within, you know what I'm saying, is important. What you say within is going to determine what you become on the outside.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, what are you constantly telling yourself? What story are you constantly telling yourself that you're supposed to believe? And did you know that you are the narrator of that story? Did you know that you could change that story any given time you want to?
But too many people think they don't control their own story. That's the killer.
Too many people think somebody else controls it.
Yes. Most people think they are actors in the movie they directed.
That's a cold game right there.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a cold game right there. Hey, people hear the James Earl Jones voice and they get to thinking that I can't be that voice.
Yeah.
I can't create that narrative.
Exactly.
Man, you ain't never lied, brother. And again, it's everything we saying is 100% useful only if you know how to use it. I can give you all the game in the world, but if you don't create a blueprint on how to utilize the information that's being given to you, then you plan on failing.
And here's another thing, and I gotta put this out there. There's this quote I heard in the Tools of Titans book, and I'm pretty sure you probably remember it once I say it. And I forget who the original quote was from. But a man that takes information for the sake of information is a fool. I'm paraphrasing.
No, yeah.
Information for the sake of information is a fool. A man that takes information for action, to take action, is rich.
Mm-hmm. Bruh, there are breadcrumbs everywhere.
Yes.
There's breadcrumbs everywhere, right? And the sooner we start detaching ourselves from those emotional vampires, no matter what it is, the sooner we start detaching ourselves from those emotional vampires, the sooner we are going to start to see results.
Yes.
Is it easier said than done? Yes. But it's doable.
And the real ability, man, is to be able to tell which is which.
That's facts.
You know, because that's that discernment part. That's why I think a lot of people fail. Because a lot of people think people are in their corner, and they ain't in your corner. And then the dude that's in your corner, you shit on him, not realizing this guy's in your corner. You know, and I'm gonna tell you a story. Did I tell you the story about the bird that was flying south?
Mm-mm.
So this is I heard this story, and I kind of live by it. And it's helps to understand this discernment. So a bird was flying south for the winter, right? But he left late. So on his way, he froze, fell to the earth. Cow came by, shitted on him. The warmth for that shit thawed the bird out. So the bird, so happy that he's alive and he's not frozen no more, started singing. Along comes a cat. Cat hears the bird singing, comes over to the bird, started cleaning the shit off the bird, and then he ate the bird. And the moral to the story is everybody that shits on you is not your enemy, and everybody that gets you out of shit ain't your friend.
I'm like, where's he going with this, man? Like, I'm like, man, where's the punchline? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
you just say the bird got shit on. Like, no, I get it. I get it.
And that's where that discernment to realize who's who.
That's where the discernment comes in. Right. That's where don't overlook the key to that message, which is having that discernment.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Having that is where you're gonna. That's where you're gonna be able to find the proper tools needed to work out any situation that you have in life. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing. I didn't heard somebody say they don't have role models. They don't have like, people in their positive people in their life. You know that. Listen, at the end of the day, you got to remember that great people wrote books. Great people wrote books. What I mean by that is, if you wanted a master teacher to teach you anything, go and grab their book. You will get firsthand knowledge on how their mind works if you go and buy their book and just crack it open and read. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrants, those two books, it's set the burning desire within my mind that whatever I'm doing with one income, I got to be working on the next play.
Right.
And it starts with how I think.
Facts.
All of it. Like my wins and my losses ain't even losses. Those are just lessons.
They're lessons.
They're just lessons. You know what I'm saying? Because like we said before, the words matter. The L's don't stand for losses. It stands for lessons.
Yep.
So whether it's my wins or my lessons, at the very end of the day, it's all about my perception and how I decide to look at the situation I put myself in or that I find myself to be in.
Right.
Because there ain't nobody, and I'm not looking for nobody to feel sorry for me and, let me Bill Antoine out of his situation. Nah, man, I want to get it about the mud.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Because I know when you do that, your accomplishments leads to your confidence.
Right.
So when I start to win the things that I'm doing, right, that right there leads to my confidence. So if I'm walking around with my head up and my chest out, my chin up and my chest out, hey, don't try to knock that down. Don't try to tell me that there's something on my ground. I gotta tie my shoe. No, I'm too busy doing this. I'm looking around here. My head is on the swivel, just enjoying the ambiance and the environments that I'm choosing to be in.
Yep. And back to what you were saying for folks that don't think they have a role model or someone to look up to, like, look, hey, if you look in your environment and you don't see nobody that you can look up to or role model, nobody with enough positive energy, You need to change your environment.
You change your environment. You are responsible for that.
You are responsible for where
Yeah.
you decide to dwell, hang out. The people, you decide who's around you. If you're
Yeah.
around a bunch of people that's doing nothing but negative stuff, and you're like, nah, I don't want to, and you don't want to roll that way, stop being around them.
It's really, and I really want people to grasp what you just now said. It's really that damn simple.
Yes.
If you're around people that's feeding, let me piggyback off that, if you will allow me. I seen a post. I forgot what the brother's name is, man, but he said, if you are for gangster rap, you're not for blacks. And part of me was like, what the, what is this talking
Lakeith
about?
Stanfield.
Huh?
Lakeith Stanfield.
There you go. That's that guy's name. Man, at first I was like, what is he talking about? But like, I'm good. I can listen to when I go to the gym, I listen to gangster rap, and I'm not out there trying to kill nobody. You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? Like, I'm not out there trying to. But then I realized that because I'm okay with listening to it, it does do something to me, right? And let me clarify that, right? When I say it does something to me, it puts me in a space to where I'm okay with letting my kids listen to that type of stuff. And the reason why I say that there's a challenge within that is because they are going to start believing when they're constantly listening to the same thing over and over and over again, pimping women, killing another black man, staying strapped just in case a black man want to attack, or selling drugs. If that's all we're constantly listening to, right? That has an effect on you. No matter if you want to believe it or not, that's okay. But if I'm constantly feeding myself positive things, I'm going to have a positive mood and have a positive attitude. If I'm constantly feeding myself negative concepts, then my energy is going to be in that respect. And I can only speak for myself. I'm not speaking for the general public because that's not my job. You know what I'm saying? But I know me personally because I've caught myself a few times when I'm walking around and I'll see another person that looks like me and I'll just make eye contact and don't even say nothing to them and then just look away. But then I also caught myself a few times where I'm roaming around. I'm walking out of a grocery store or something like that, and I see somebody that looks like me, and I'm like, "Peace to the God. How you doing, brother?" And it's always returned with, "I'm good, brother. How about you?"
I always speak. At
Man,
all times.
I'm working
I
on
speak to
that.
everybody. I speak to everybody.
It's same here. Trust me, I'm working on it, right? I don't care who it is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm always either nodding my head. If you make eye contact,
If we make
my
eye
head,
contact, you
I'm gonna
gonna
say something.
Hey, I'm gonna be audible. If we make eye contact and I walk by you, I'm like, "What's happening? How you doing?" I'm gonna say something.
Something.
Cause I want you to know I acknowledge your presence and I'm glad you're here.
Something.
You know what
I'm gonna say, and I'm working on that. Am I at it 100%? Nah, I'm about a good 51% of the time. Majority of the time, right?
Right.
I'm pretty good at that. So I'm a
Gotcha.
work in progress. You know what I'm saying? I understand where I'm at, and I'm good with that. I'm a work in progress, right? But one of the beautiful things about trying, right, or just putting yourself out there is when you do that, it's one of those things that I don't know. It just feels so good to be acknowledged.
Now I'm gonna ask you a question. And this is on that justice freedom tip.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have the freedom to greet your fellow man.
Mm-hmm.
But when that greeting is in return, do you wish to seek justice?
Oh, that's a great question. I like how you posed that question right there. I like how you posed that question right there. Um, if we're being honest, and that's the side I like to air my thoughts out on. It depends on what I'm going through. I'm working on being. I'm working on it. I'm working on not having it. Well, fuck you, then, punk. Attitude.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm working on
Yep.
not having that attitude, and not thinking that who does this person think they are. You know what I'm saying? I'm working on that. I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? But I can say majority of the time I keep it pushing.
So I can be honest
Majority
about
of the
myself.
time.
I used to want justice. And the justice would be like if I spoke to someone and they didn't respond, I would be more forceful. Hey, I said, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? I want justice. I want you to respond to me.
Hmm.
But now, since I operate in freedom and being free, just because I speak, that man has the right to speak or not speak.
Bingo.
You know. So now, if I speak and they don't speak, that's cool. All right, well, still have a good day. Because
You
you
keep it
never know what
pushing.
they going. Because you don't know what they going through in their life.
You don't know what they
What's
you
going
don't know
on in
what
their
they
head?
going through, bro.
Exactly.
You don't know what they going through. It's not for you to know.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And they don't owe you they don't owe you. Let me go ahead and tell you exactly how my day started off and where it went wrong. They don't owe you that.
Not at
Don't
all.
nobody owe you that. You know what I'm saying? So you're right. You are absolutely correct. And again, like I said, that's something I'm working on. Is not and I like to be honest with myself. Other people may see this video and be like, "Oh man, I'm good at that." And then that's great. That's great, right? But where I'm at is that's something that I'm working on. You know what I'm saying? And eventually it's gonna get to the point to where it's like every single time if that happens, it's like I'm gonna keep it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just keep it pushing. You
Yep.
know what I mean? But it depends. Sometimes, I could be having a bad day and, feel a certain type of way about it. And I think I reserve the right to feel a certain type of way about it because it's my life. If I choose to waste my time and dwelling on what somebody did or did not do, that's my choice.
A
I
day is
just have
only
to
bad
deal
if
with
you
the
think it's bad.
consequences. Say again.
A day is only bad if you think it's bad.
A day is only bad if it's all up to me.
It's all up to you.
It's all up to me. You know what I'm saying? It's all up to me, man. So that's where I'm at with justice and freedom and free speech, freedom of the mind, and freedom of thought, and seeking justice for things in our life.
Absolutely. And I understand as a society, that's where we are. As a society, we're in the mode of justice. But I'll
Hmm.
be glad when it might not happen in our lifetime, but I think we are on our way to evolving out of justice. It takes time.
It does, and I'm happy that the internet is what it is because at least no matter what comes up, it at least provides us an opportunity to have a conversation about it.
Yes.
Because that conversation is going to allow us to be able to bridge the gaps and the people who agree with a certain concept is on this side. The people who don't agree is on that side. And then at least those people who didn't know each other before, at least in those groups, or the people who agree and don't agree, at least they're having conversations with each other when
And
before
that's the
they never
key.
did.
No, nobody's going to be all over here. No,
No, it's not
everybody's
gonna
not going
happen.
to be over here. But the key, as long as we can respect each other throughout,
Bingo.
have the conversation, understand, take the time to truly understand each other, which I honestly think we're heading down that path.
We are.
Probably another 200 years or so. Things are. I mean, look, we come a long way. And things, and it's an exponential curve. It's not linear. It's exponential.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, yeah. It's progress. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely
yeah,
progress, man.
yeah.
Um, anything else? Anything else you wanted to touch on before we get up out of here?
Nah, I think I'm good to go, brother. I thought that was a good follow up discussion.
I think
We
so
was
too.
we was able to tie it all back in, you know, and people had a perspective on how they see it, and that's okay. Perspective's important, you know, and the more perspectives that you're able to see, the more informed we all will be.
Hmm. That's how I look at that, man.
Yeah,
Hey, there's no perfection in the world, man. We are all having a human experience. So just have a little more patience with each other. You know what I'm saying? Show a little bit more love, man.
more
And
grace.
right, more grace. That's the word right there, man. Hey, that is so important, B. Like just
Yeah,
have some grace, man. Not everybody's gonna think like you. Not everybody's gonna move like you, and that's okay.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Just practice a little bit more grace, man.
Yeah, but when you're seeking grace, you got to be able to give it. You just can't be a
You
seeker
gotta
of
be able to
grace
give it,
and
man.
not give it.
You gotta be able to give it, man. You ain't lying.
Absolutely. That's the truth
All
there.
right, brother.
All right, man. Well, shoot. Hey, until the next time.
Until the next time, man. I'm about to take my butt to the gym real quick, get it in, and work on myself, man. Until the next time, brother, man. You enjoy this beautiful night, brother, and peace to the gods.
Already. Hey, and we out.
And we out.